Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anguilla. Feels like the first flight in a while, even though I think I flew one in the last week or so. First things first, I'm going to have to apologize for the fact that, in all likelihood, I'm going to cough during this video. My allergies are killing me. So, forgive me in advance. But anyway, here we are inside the beautiful JustFlight Piper Warrior. Let's get going. Fuel selector on the lowest tank. I'm gonna put on the right tank. I just like it on the right tank because then I can burn out of the left, and that makes it makes the plane a little bit more level with me sitting on the left side. So let's go. Rotating beacon on. Mixture is rich. Carb heat is cold. Master and battery switches on. Fuel pump on. Throttle open. 1/4 inch. I don't know what it is with the magnetos in this plane, but they're a little funky. And you have to use the keyboard to really start it, or the mouse rather. Oil pressure is coming up looking just fine. 1200 in the RPMs, which is great. So let's go avionics master on. Let's go fuel pump off. Check fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is fine. Okay, the flight plan is looking good. Okay. Certainly looks like the #1 radio is not working. So we'll go COM 2 mic 2. Transponders on standby. Alright. All good. Let's get the altimeter setting here. 1017 or 3003. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so lean the mixture for taxi. As you can tell, I'm trying not to cough. Nav and strobe lights are on. Taxi light on. Alright, let's release the fuel pump. The parking brake. And as soon as the airplane gets moving, check the brakes. So, Anguilla traffic, Cherokee 56125, taxiing to runway 11 via taxiway Bravo. Anguilla. So, it's getting to be evening time here in Anguilla. And I can already tell that I'm going to want my panel lights on. So we're going to have to do that here in a second. Alright. Let's go panel lights on. Alright, engage the parking brake. Let's go fuel pump on. Mixture rich. Cough. Alright. Now I'm gonna move this just so it's a little easier. Alright, throttle to 2000 RPM. Alright, left magneto. Good drop, back to both. Right magneto, good drop, and it's within 50 RPMs of one another, which is what you want. Back to both. I just did the same thing. Alright, there is carb heat. Good drop. I can't believe I just did that. Let's turn the fuel pump off. Check fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is good. Oil pressure is good. Throttle back to 1000 RPM. The reason why I'm laughing is the reason why I set up my Honeycomb Bravo to have an axis for the carb heat is because I did exactly what I just did right now in the real airplane a couple days ago. Let's do a throttle idle check here real quick. Sounds fine. I was doing a run up and I went to put on the carb heat and I pulled the mixture, and so I said, you know what, set up your Bravo so you've got the axis for the carb heat, and that'll help train your brain to not do that again. And guess what? I just did it in the sim, so there you go. Alright, so let's real quick do a flight control check. Up on that side, down on that side, up on that side, down on that side, flaps, down on that side, down on that side, all the way up on that side, all the way up on that side. And elevator is working properly. Okay, flight controls are free and correct. So let's go transponder squawk altitude. Let's go fuel pump on. Let's go landing light on. No, it's pitot heat. Let's go landing light on. Alright, trim is set for takeoff, so mixture is rich, carb heat is cold, fuel pump is on, lights are on, we are ready to rumble, engine instruments all look fine, windows closed, door is secured and locked. I do not see any traffic on the runway, I don't see any traffic on the GTN 750, so let's get out of here. Anguilla traffic, Cherokee 56125, taking runway 11 for departure to the south, Anguilla. Alright. So I just did one of the boo-boos that I've done recently in a real airplane. I just did it here in the sim. And I did another boo-boo the other day, yesterday. And I'll tell you about that as we're flying down to St. Eustatius. I didn't tell you where we're going. We're going to Statia. Just because it's a really cool airport. Alright. Heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Takeoff power is set. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 60, 65, 75, and rotate. Alright, positive rate of climb. Ain't got no gear to bring up. We do have the beautiful island of Anguilla to look at, though. Alright. Airspeed is good. Look at that. One of the most beautiful places in the world. I meant to switch my fuel tanks, but I didn't. Alright, we're over more than 400 feet AGL, so we can make our turnout. Anguilla traffic, Cherokee 56125, right crosswind turn right now to south departure off runway 11, Anguilla. Alright, 1000 feet AGL, let's turn the fuel pump off, let's check the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is just fine. Start pushing the nose down now a little bit and pick up some speed. So there is the beautiful island of St. Martin. 85 knots is really what I'm looking for. For climb out, let's have a look here. Look at that, 56125. Wish they made this a little more colorful, this airplane. This is their, like, stock plane that you can kind of, make your own, as it were. And it's cool that you can put your own registration on it, but it would be nice if it was a little bit more of a colorful airplane. Save off the distance. There is St. Bart's, St. Martin. Alright, we've climbed up to 3,000 already. $3,500 is going to be our cruising altitude. It's so little stupid airplane trivia. 50 feet below is our cruise altitude. Let's push the nose over. Pull the power until we hear a discernible change in engine sound. Now we'll just roll in some trim here. I know the airplane's not going to stay trimmed there. It just never will. Alright, let's get a look at the RPMs here. Not bad. 24 is what we're looking for. Really we can do with 25, but I'm in no rush. I don't know about you guys. So get it trimmed out. It's going to take a little bit more effort here. So you guys know the odd even rule, right? For altitudes, for cruise altitudes. When you're flying eastbound, you fly an odd altitude plus 500. So 3,500, 5,500, etc. When you're flying westbound, you fly an even plus 500, so 4,500, 6,500, etc. And it's not ground track; it's your actual, the track across the ground, I guess is the way to put it. And on today's flight, our track is 179. So the rule is from 0 to 179 is eastbound, and from 180 to 359 is westbound. Pretty cool, huh? Not really. But... Whoa! No. That's one thing, this thing flips a little too easily sometimes. Alright, fuel pump off. Let's check the fuel pressure. Fuel pressure's fine. So, gosh, what a beautiful day. Big surprise, right? In the Caribbean, it's a beautiful day. Not really. I think that's a chick in there. That's awesome. That's a girl. Yeah, there's somebody with a man bun, one of the two. But, always good to see more women in aviation, and not always have the assumption that everybody involved in aviation is a man. So, the island we're going to is that one right over there, St. Eustatius, locally known as Statia. And I almost feel like there's like no traffic for some reason. Which would be kind of unusual for the area. But anyway, so what kind of stupid things did I do that I'm that I'm trying to that I was talking about earlier? So I've been the last couple of days. Today is a Sunday. The last couple of days I have been doing my instrument currency for real world instrument flight. You have to do in the U.S. every 6 months. You have to do, or you have to have done 6 holds. I'm gonna lean here. I should lean this mixture. 6 holds. You have to have done 6 approaches, holding procedures, and intercepting and tracking of courses using navigational equipment. They're not specific as to what kind of navigational equipment. But you have to have done all that stuff within the previous 6 months to be instrument current. And my instrument currency ran out on May 30th, and so I wanted to get my instrument currency back, and so I've been working on that this weekend. And so I went flying. When was it? I went flying one time last week. And I was doing an engine run up, and I went to put the carb heat on, which is here. It's there in my Cherokee as well. And I went to put that on. However, instead of putting that on, I pulled this lever, which is the mixture, which is not good. And that's the second time in my illustrious flying career that I've accidentally pulled the mixture. The first time was in flight, which really woke me up. So when you pull the mixture, when you pull it full out, the engine will stop. The golden rule in an airplane being never push a button, pull a lever without looking at it and verifying what it is before you do that. There's peak EGT, so we'll just push that in a little bit. And I did that, which is not good. And so my solution was I should start using, I fly like the TBM a lot, especially, and this airplane is pretty much the real airplane that I fly, except I have 2 G5s right here stacked, so I've got, electronic flight instruments. And yeah, I guess that's really the only big difference. The cockpit layout is all pretty much the same. I've got a GTN 750. The primers here, throttle, mixture, carb heat, all the buttons here are the same. So I decided I should start flying this airplane more in the simulator because it's very similar to what I fly in real life, and that's a good idea. And so I binded the carb heat to an axis on my Honeycomb Bravo so that I could practice doing run-ups and actually do the carb heat. It apparently didn't work because I just screwed it up again. There's Saba right there. But the other cool thing that I did, and this is really, it's funny but it's not funny. I went flying with my friend Pete yesterday. he was when you're doing the instrument currency work, you have to have another pilot in the airplane with you because you've got the hood on, so you can't see out the you can't see out the windows, so you can only see the instrument panel. So you have to have another pilot in the airplane to keep a lookout for other traffic. And Pete was kind enough to do that for me. He flew right before I did, and long story short, I did my takeoff and I did my usual, power set, engine instruments in the green, airspeed alive. But I came up to look at the airspeed, and the airspeed didn't come alive. And it didn't come alive, and I waited and I waited, and it didn't come alive. And then finally, the airplane was, if you're in a real airplane and you get close to takeoff speed, airplane kind of dances on its wheels. I mean, it really gets like a little jumpy almost, because it's ready to fly. And as it was at that point, I kind of felt like and an airplane that is going 80 miles an hour, which is about what we were going at that point, is not as easy to slow down and bring to a stop as you might think. I had plenty of runway to do it, but it doesn't handle like a car slowing down. It can be a little bit squirrely, and so I just figured the airplane was ready to fly. The weather was spectacular. I mean, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. There was no wind. So I just took off, and as soon as we left the ground, Pete and I looked at each other, and he said, "Did you take the pitot heat cover, the pitot tube cover off?" And I said, "No." "Did you take the pitot tube cover off?" And he said, "No." And right about then, the airspeed started increasing, and it picked up, and it got to a normal value. So what happened was, I left the pitot tube cover on, and it fell off right about as we rotated. So we got to do all the approaches. I called Tower and told them what had happened, that we had probably lost the pitot tube cover. And they went out and found it. Alright, let's get the weather here. Alright, 1016, so 3000. Okay. Alright, the wind is 060 at 17 knots. Variable 030 to 090. Runway is 0624, so it should be right down the runway. Runway is 4,000 feet long, 100 feet wide, give or take. So there's Saba right over there. So there's no real way I can simulate trying to make sure I don't forget the pitot cover in the sim, but I'm trying to use as much as I can to simulate. Alright, we're 10 minutes out. We've got, let's see, what is the field elevation? Field elevation is 131 feet. So, so anyway, I've made some goofs in the last couple days, and I attribute a lot of it to just having not flown a lot recently, which is a legitimate, you know, thing to point out. But the other thing is that the simulator time that I do have, don't really use to the best of my. I don't really use to the best possible use. There is Saba. So you're gonna see me flying this airplane a lot more. Went out and did some touch and goes this morning in the actual Cherokee. Went really well. I want about 1,600 feet for pattern, so it's going to cost me about 2,000 feet in elevation. Over the course of 5 minutes, that'll be 400 feet a minute, so that's what we'll do. It's a tricky little airport. It is basically there's a face, a rock face, a hill face that leads right up to it. So there's a drop off on the approach end of the runway, a pretty significant drop off. So it's visually a little bit intimidating. And there's some pretty good downdrafts in there, so you've got to really be on top of. I prefer to come in here a little bit high. 4,000 foot runway is plenty long enough. You've got to have your speed under control though, because if you come up high and land halfway down the runway and you're too fast, you certainly can get yourself you know, in a tight enough position. Do that earlier in the flight. Or is that making it worse rather than better? Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125, 10 miles to the north, inbound, full stop, runway 6, Statia. With about 150 knots, 150 RPM power reduction here, about 2250. Alright, I'm going to stop toying with you and just start putting a pretty strong input here. All right. There is St. Vincent, next island down there. There's Saba right there. Dropping up. Oh, yeah, we're about 400 feet a minute. That's just fine. Back just a little bit. Is the Rodney Oil Terminal right in front of us there. The only reason I know that is because I downloaded it off flightsim.to because I thought it was cool that somebody added it. So I don't. It's must be an oil refinery on the island. Alright, so lights are all on. I am gonna go mixture full rich. So in the actual GTN 750, you could set up a visual approach. Well, this is a pseudo GTN 750. It's a decent enough unit. I have some issues with it. It's kind of become a smorgasbord of things that people wanted in it rather than an actual GTN 750, which is what it's supposed to be. But I guess that's just my complaint, right? Island's looking very pretty tonight. So you don't get as good a view out of the low-wing airplane. I think the view's just fine. Okay. Spin this around to 60 so I get an idea of where the runway is. Okay. Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125 is on a left downwind runway 06, Statia. Okay. Beautiful night. Station traffic, Cherokee 56125 turning left base, a 3-mile left base for runway 06 station. So we're going to put that power back. We're going to put the fuel pump on. I'm starting to think there's an outside chance that this isn't the runway I was thinking it was. I don't think it is. It's not the one that's on the, on the cliff face. I wonder which one I was thinking of. Okay, first notch of flaps, keep the nose down. Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125, turning a 3-mile final for runway 06, Statia. Second notch of flaps. And this is not the one that I was thinking of that's got it's on the rock face. Alright, we're 1,000 feet. Approach is stabilized. 75 knots. Start creeping over here towards the runway. Always better to turn in too early than too late. Alright, fuel pump is on. Mixture is rich. Carby is cold. And this wind is definitely coming a little bit out of the right because I can't get over there. My ground speed is really slow because this 17 knot wind. Gotta put some power in here. Keep it in. Just pull out just a little bit. Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125, short final, runway 06, Statia. There's the oil terminal. Ground speed is 58 knots, which is really low. Alright, let's get ready to dance on these rudder pedals here. Start backing off a tiny bit of the power, but still not a whole lot yet. Okay. Stay on center line. Definitely back off some of the power. And power is all the way out. And we put it right down on that right wheel with the airplane aligned properly with the runway. Pull all the way back on the yoke. That gives us aerodynamic braking. How cool is that? Alright. Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125, back taxiing runway 06, Statia. And as I said to my buddy Pete yesterday, almost makes me look like I know what I'm doing. That was a pretty good approach, pretty good landing. I was pretty pleased with that. Got that little bit of rudder kicking at the end, and got the airplane aligned with the runway properly. Touchdown in the downwind gear. No, in the upwind gear, pardon me. And that's how you do it. And this is a free scenery from flightsim.to that I would really recommend you guys going out and get. Like I said, it's free. Alright, real quick here, let's lean the mixture for taxi, get the power back to 1200 RPM, lean the mixture for taxi, turn the fuel pump off. Let's put the flaps up, and Statia traffic, Cherokee 56125 is clear the runway, Statia. So, I want to find a parking spot right here because this airport is so cool. This is free, guys. This is free. Like, can you believe? I mean, look at this. Somebody took the time to do this. I mean, you'll see a lot of like small airports in Flight Simulator that somebody will do and maybe sell for like $5. I would have gladly paid $5 for this airport. This is just so cool. Alright, let's put on the brakes here. And you always turn the avionics master switch off before you pull the mixture to idle cutoff. Throttle is idle. Let's put on the parking brake. Let's turn off the lights. Let's turn off the magnetos, and then turn off the master and battery switch. Open the window, get some air in here. All right. Get the door open, and I'm gonna see real quickly if I can. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see if I can get. See if I can get the. See if I can get my drone camera working here real quick and take a look at this little airport. It's just so cool that somebody would do this. So. Cameras. I think it's showcase camera. Yeah, look at this. Cool, cool, cool. Now, here is. I mean, look at this. The lights are coming on. So this is, you can see, welcome to Statia, the Golden Rock. Got the arrivals hall here. Gosh, what a beautiful night too. And let me see, let's go down here. There's a dude. Look at this. I mean, look at this. How cool is this? Anguilla Airways, look at that. Win Air. I mean, massive props to whoever did this. I will put the link in the video in the description. Because, I mean, I'm sorry. This is... this deserves some love to to put this kind of effort into an airport that you then turn around and give away. You know, it's just so neat. And this is the amazing thing about Flight Simulator. Look at that. It's the amazing thing about Flight Simulator is I guess the ability of, I guess the system is usable enough, or the SDK, whatever it is usable enough that you can, that people. I tried doing some stuff on Anguilla early on. I'm glad I didn't get very far because the folks at SLH Sim Designs wound up doing Anguilla and doing an amazing job. But it's usable enough that people can do these amazing sceneries. Like, I mean, somebody did this on their free time, which just blows my mind, you know. And I mean, I've said it on, you know, quite a few of my videos already that we are in the golden age of Caribbean simulation for sure. You know, Caribbean aviation simulation. It used to be the Caribbean was the redheaded stepchild of simulators. I mean, there's so many great airports down here and so many neat procedures and fun places to fly, and none of it was covered. You know, and now with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and there's St. Martin off in the distance. Now with Microsoft Flight Simulator, look what we get. It's just awesome. So, huge thank you to the designer of this airport. And thanks for joining me tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.